Hello, I'm in the process at the moment of making a growth chart wall hanging for my youngest granddaughter, and I've chosen the Creative Kiwi fairy castle pattern to embroider, and as you can see it's embroidering out really well and coming together very nicely. Now for the measurement side they do provide a ruler section which I wasn't that keen on. It's just a line down with lines that I think is 10 centimeter increments. So I had a little thought, what can I do? I could buy a tape measure, add a piece of fabric on the side, get some fabric, make a band, sew a tape measure down the side. Didn't like the idea of that, thought about different ideas, then I thought why not do one on printed print some onto fabric. I've had great success printing onto fabric, either using transfer paper that's meant for the purpose or printing direct onto the fabric. I designed a design to do this. It's on 5 A sheet pieces of fabric, and here we have them. This will be the first one. This will be the first one from 20 centimeters up to 40 centimeters, and then from 50 to 70, and then from 80 to 90. Now the last one, which I have prepared and is already, the fabric's on the card already, smoothed down flat, cut to the size of the A4 card, is ready to be printed later because I wanted to stitch all the panels that I want to stitch for the wall hanging from the Creative Kiwi file, so that I can get an exact measurement to see how far up I need to go. So at this moment in time the design is not yet finished, but when this video is published it will be to a certain size, which I will mention at the end of the video once I've worked out exactly how far we need to go. Now for the lining up, here we have 20, 30, 40. We have the half centimetre, which would be 5 centimetres, and then the next one here is the 50. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be having a seam allowance which will fold and either go on top of this green one. I can use the green one or I can use the black one, whichever. Now I'm going to go and press these at where I'm going to be joining them so that I've got nice creases to press them and line them up for printing. These will be then sewn together. So we have that one who will go on top of that one, and then we have this one. Again, we'll have a look at and work out exactly 70, 80. So basically it's going to be, this one is going to be on top of that black one there. Okay, so we've got the 5 centimeters. This is in centimeters, but I'm going to do one in inches as well, because I know not all of us work in metric. Here in France we work in metric, and in other countries too, but a lot of places are still in feet and inches, so I am going to prepare one for that as well. Here is the Creative Kiwi wall chart, fairy castle growth chart. As you see, I've stitched it all, embroidered it all, and did a couple of extra ones without any windows on, just to make it a bit taller, and it's stitched out beautifully. It's a lovely file, just got a few loose threads to trim up, but this is the Creative Kiwi growth chart. I just thought I'd show it to you. Now, as you remember, I showed you the pieces of fabric that I'd printed on, and here are 3 of the pieces that have been joined together. As you can see, this is the bottom one, and this will line up approximately, well, it will line up here with that. Then we have the second one and the third one, then there'll be a fourth and a fifth. But just before I join those together, I'd like to just show you a couple of tips. These have got lines on them. There's usually a couple spare. As you can see, I've yet to trim these seams, I've pressed them. But this is how I do it when I'm joining them. We have the two printed pieces of fabric that go next to each other. We have extra lines. Between here and here there are 10 black lines, or 8 black lines, 9 black lines, and a green one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here you need to decide which line you're going to use to line it up. Here I've chosen the one just above the green. So I've ironed it and pressed it so that this black line is just underneath the crease line, and then the one that goes on top has been creased just below, so that will join here like this. Now what I use to help join it and to line it up is I have a piece of polystyrene which I place down like this. I place this one on top flat, and I place this one right sides together on top of here like this. I find my pins, and with my pins I line it up. Now these are the lines that I want to line up. So this is below the black line, this is above the black line. So I push a pin in through here to make sure it's in the right place. Oh. And then I bring this one down and place it just below. Can you see that? I'll zoom in a bit. So we have the pin here and here. Pull this flat. Another pin, and do the same. Oh no, it's not that one I was choosing. This is nearly did it wrong. Yeah, it's this one here. Below, above, goes in. Below, above, goes in. Now when I printed this file, this has got a black line here and here. On the actual file that will be going out, the PDF that will be going out, there won't be a black line here and here. I knew that this is the width that I'm going to want my wall chart is going to be here. This ruler is going to be, it's 10 centimeters, 100 mil. But I will remove the black line before I publish the PDF, because you can have it as wide as you like. Well, as wide as the A4 piece of fabric, minus seam allowances. This is so that you can use it as an add-on to a wall chart, embroidered wall chart, or another wall chart, or you can use it as a standalone item. Which again is perfectly feasible and perfectly good. You could have a wall chart just this width here, the width of the A4, batting in between, quoted on the lines, entirely up to you. But I'm doing this as an add-on to another person's file, for the Kreative Kiwi file, or any other file that you have that would fit. Okay, so there we go. That's how I pin it together. I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and sew this one on, and then put the last one on for the top, for the length. Okay, so here we have all the pieces put together, and as you can see, it's going to come nicely at the top here. So we have from 20 centimeters to 130 centimeters, which I think is plenty high enough, tall enough, long enough for a child's growth chart. So the method of construction now is entirely up to you. Well, how I'm going to do it is I'm going to join this to the panels this way, and then when I've got the two panels together, I'm going to cut a piece of batting which will go over the whole length of the back of this panel. And when I put the back on top of it, and it's and I sew all the way around as you would a normal anything really, a bag or a pouch or a pocket, sew all the way around, leave a gap for turning. When I turn it back out, I will quilt on this side, on the lines and in the ditch here, so that it holds it together. I shall probably stitch on the green line that I've yet to work out to see how I like the finishing of it. Now, as I said, you don't need to have an embroidery machine. You don't need to have another person's files to do an embroidery like this. The choice is up to you. You could just simply print it onto fabric, five A4 sheets of fabric, or 5 sheets of transfer paper. If you are using transfer paper, do remember that you need to reverse the image on your printer so that it prints correctly, because the transfer paper you then need to iron onto the fabric. I do have a video on my YouTube channel showing you how to print onto fabric. It's using a different product. It's for the needle cushion holder organizer, but it does tell you how to print onto fabric, or I think it might actually be the times table sheets as well. Okay, so here we are. We have the measuring chart has been attached to the embroidery, the Kreative Kiwi growth chart. I have a backing that I've placed on the back, and there is a piece of wadding in between here. I've sewn all the way around to join it up, leaving a gap at the top. What I've decided to do is, my husband supplied me with this little piece of doweling, which will just keep it nice and straight when it's hanging. I've cut myself a piece of fabric a little bit longer, measured from here to here, 25.5 inches, and I have 2 pieces of fabric that I've cut, which are 7 centimeters by, again, 29.5, and I've marked the 25.5 centimeter line here and here, and I've placed the ribbon in between. Put the 2 pieces of fabric right side together. I've put a piece of ribbon in between, about 2 centimeters in from the edge. This will be joined to this piece, which will have a piece of batting. The idea is that this piece of doweling will go in. This, when it's been sewed, it will come over like this. The ribbon will come out at the top, and this will slip in between, and I'll top stitch that closed, and it will all be nice and finished off. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, here is the finished wall hanger. As you can see, there's the tube on top with the dowel in, which keeps it nice and straight. It stops it from sagging in the middle. There we have all the sections. I'm debating, I haven't done it yet, but I'm debating, I've stitched in the ditch here, along all this seam here, but I'm debating whether to stitch along this line or to do a couple of lines across here in white or light pink. I still haven't made my mind up yet on that, but that's just a finishing touch. There we go, that's all done and finished and tickety-boo. The other thing I'm doing at the moment is making myself some markers, and here we have in felt de on, because my granddaughter is French, so these I've stitched out. I'll be hot gluing these onto the pegs so that when they're measured they can stick on there like so. I've got 2 years, 1 year, 3 years, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 18 months and 1 year and 6 months as well, but I haven't done those yet. They're on the machine doing at the moment. So when that's finished, when I finish doing them all, they will be glued onto the pegs like so. But I think I'm very happy with the way this is stitched out. Creative Kiwi stitching is absolutely beautiful, very nice indeed, and I'm very happy with the way that the printout has gone on the fabric. I do prefer the results of printing direct onto fabric rather than transfer sheets. My printer's a good printer, it's a brother. I've done it before as well with a Canon printer.